Okay, everybody, this is part 3. I'm going back to Ultimate Team Seasons right here. We're going to pick up based on what you just finished saying. Okay, so when you saw any sexual act, you said, as a young kid, so girl on girl, guy on guy, heterosexual?
I never saw homosexual acts until I became an adult.
Okay, so...
And I find them very erotic.
Okay, so what I'm saying is...
The only thing that I don't like is anything with animals and anything with fecal matter.
Okay, so... Excuse me. So based on what you're saying right now, it had no relevancy to you.
No.
Okay. Now, how was your family's reaction to that type of thing?
My family called everyone names.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone had some type of stereotypical ignorant name.
Okay.
So therefore, since there was no one thing that was made fun of or put down more,
okay,
I saw everything as being equal.
Okay, did that help you develop?
I think that between that level of ignorance, because it was ignorance throughout,
okay,
and then on the other side, being taught to tolerate and accept people for who they are as an individual,
okay,
I think that helped me with my personal views.
Okay.
I think the fact that my family never forced religion on me,
okay,
I was able to make decisions for myself, and I was exposed to Judaism, Catholicism, Jehovah's Witness, Baptist church. I was exposed to several things growing up.
Okay.
So I was able to make certain decisions for myself.
Okay.
I had a dear, dear loved one who was homosexual.
Okay.
Now, the only thing that I found disgusting about it was that she would talk to me about the things that she was doing, and as a woman, she really referred to herself more as a male. She would tell me that she has a strap-on on. Okay. That just was inappropriate, regardless whether she was doing it with a guy or a girl.
Okay, how did that make you feel though? Like, I'm trying to distinguish it. Like, say
that to me was kind of like knowing that your parents are doing it, so it was disgusting in that sense. Like, I don't want to know about any of the adults in my family. I don't want to know about what you're doing behind closed doors.
Okay, we're getting somewhere now. I like this.
But I never looked at it as she is doing that with a woman. I just didn't want to hear about what you were doing, just like I don't want to know what my mother's doing. I don't want to know my father's doing.
Now, let me ask you a specific question. Based on the same-sex relation and what your family member would tell you, how would that make you feel compared to somebody not in your family that's a heterosexual couple telling you the same story? Would it be more disgusting because it's same sex or your family, or
it's more disgusting because of my family?
Okay, so say it's your friends that say you just had you had friends that were homosexual, and that she was a female and she was telling you about same-sex acts, and then you had a friend that is heterosexual that's telling you about same-sex acts. Which would you feel differently listening to both friends?
No.
Okay, so regardless of what they're saying, like the same thing that you just gave an example about with your family member, we're using a strap-on. If your friend told you the same thing that was same-sex, and then you had, your heterosexual friends, both telling you crazy shit, anal sex, whatever like that, whatever they're doing, would you be less tolerable to either?
No.
Why is that? Like, why in your personal mind would you not?
The only thing that bothered me is when girls told me stories of having sex with a guy to make that guy like him. Anytime that someone told me a sex act and they were a willing component and they did it because they were having fun.
Homosexual or heterosexual? Homosexual
or heterosexual.
Okay.
Because I know plenty of people, growing up who just experimented.
Okay.
To me, that it was just a sex act.
Okay, so it didn't make you feel any different?
No. To me, a tongue is a tongue. Like,
okay, so why do you think, because you gave an example, because religion wasn't forced on you, and because you were able to see certain things, why do you think that it's not a big deal to you? The differences between what they do and them telling you the stories descriptively. Because you're saying right now, if somebody tells you descriptively.
I'll tell you why. I know what I like. Okay. I know what my limits are.
Okay.
I know how I feel about the opposite sex.
Okay.
And like you said, even if I were to be a homosexual, decide that I was going to be a homosexual, there's not as much pressure put on me in society as a woman.
Okay.
But regardless of that, I know who I am and I know what I like and I'm comfortable.
And that's my point.
And I'm comfortable in saying that.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Because we're trying to figure out how to change society. What made you feel that both things, they were no different from the heterosexual and the homosexual? What was it that...
I think the ultimate thing that made me feel like that is the lessons that I was taught about tolerating human beings.
And who taught you that?
My Nana.
Okay, so basically, your whole mindset is about acceptance for people for who they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was always a practical person. Like, to me, why do I care what that person does in their bedroom?
No, I agree.
That is 100 miles away or next door.
What I'm trying to do right now...
It has no reflection on me and who I am as a person. It doesn't affect me and my family.
Exactly.
Except if that person is a pedophile.
Okay, now listen.
That is the one time where I need to know if my neighbor chooses to do stuff with children. Because, one, it is always rape.
Okay.
And two, I have children.
Okay, so
that is the only time where I need to know what a person is like sexually.
Okay, so other than that, because
other than that,
obviously we agree on that. But
my president, that's another thing. Like when they talk about the presidents and their, sexual acts. To me, when Bill Clinton had that affair with Monica Lewinsky and whoever else he had the affair with, that was a personal matter between him, his wife, and Monica Lewinsky. Just like it is for every other person in this country. Yeah. And there shouldn't have been so much media attention placed on that. But media, back to media, you guys know how I feel about it. Media always has to glorify sex.
Yeah, that sells.
In any way, shape, or form.
It sells, so they gotta make money.
And it's sad that's where they are.
Yeah, but
I would rather that my president doesn't have a full freaking balls and that he's letting off loads because now his mind is clear. Okay. Because men think better after they let off one. Okay, so listen. Okay, we have to use that for another video. But basically, I'm trying to touch on the fact that if your mindset, if I'm a guy, because there are certain society puts certain pressures on a man. Yes. Than they do a female. Yes. And if I'm a guy and I don't know if I like men or if I like women. Okay. And everyone around me is pushing me in one direction, that I could understand how that would make me upset. But I don't understand how now I have to take my anger out on someone else. And that is that's the underlying problem in this country, in this society, where we don't make people responsible for their own actions. Because ultimately, no matter how confused I may be internally, that is an internal battle that I have to have with myself and with my God, whatever that may be. But I should not be taking that out on someone else who is happy with who they are. So what do you think about the relevancy of how anything that's homosexual in any case is still predominant right now in society? Like going back to this specific topic, that it's twofold. One, media wants to talk about sex, so that's what they're doing. And this guy, Jason Collins, is trying to make a name for himself, knowing that he's shitty. Well, he is shitty, but like I said, it's really the Nets owner that is he does everything for marketing purposes. And the Nets have been a complete bullshit fucking... He put all these old-ass people from Boston together, the Garnetts, the Pierces, and everything like that, and then it didn't work out. They got to take that thing off. But the whole situation about what you're saying is correct about him being shitty and trying to be the first to the table. But at the same time, it's not on him. Because the Nets need to do something too. And their owner, like I said, he's a marketing guru. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Even if he gets signed, he won't play. Because he's a bum. He's going to warm the bench? Yes, but guess what? Like you just said, he would be the first gay, out in the open, while playing athlete. To take away from Michael Sam, who was brave enough to say it before he even got drafted. Exactly. That took a lot of guts. That took more than guts. He has balls of steel. Because the shit that he's going to get, which it bothers me a lot to know what he's going to have to deal with, is similar to like the first African-American athlete to play baseball. Like you come out, and everybody just hates you for no fucking reason. Yeah.
So people go, oh, and then they're gonna give you reasoning.
Worse than that is when your own teammates hate you and act a certain way.
Turn that off.
You know they're gonna be laughing and joking, and he comes in and people get quiet.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question about that though. Is it the teammates' fault if they are inclined and have always believed that this is wrong? Through religion, through their upbringing. Like you just gave your example for why your nana gave you a free thinking process to accept people for who they are. If they're brought up like that, are you saying that they should revert and accept
I'm not saying that they should revert.
What are you saying?
Because you have to always be true and honest to yourself. And if that's what you honestly believe, which I don't believe, but if that's what you honestly believe, that's fine. But at the same time, when you are not your own business owner, and if you are an NFL player,
he's an employee. They're employees.
Player, you are an employee.
Yes, they are.
So, for example, there are certain people that, due to their religious beliefs, do not like Muslims. But if your boss who pays your check hires somebody who's Muslim, you need to check that belief at the door. I'm the type of person where when I go to work, I put on that role and that hat for the amount of time that you're paying me. So no matter what's going on in my personal life, if you and I are having a fight, I can be crying in tears, but as soon as I punch in, I'm happy, joyful. I leave that at the door. So if I don't like certain people because of some innate thing, I leave my opinions at the door.
So what is your suggestion? Because obviously they're not going to do that.
It doesn't matter if this guy, he's not having sex. If he has sex in the locker room, then you have a good argument because that's not the place for it. But as long as he is not having sex with the man in the locker room, you need to go about business as usual because you're employed. Okay. You're on the clock. Okay, and that's what you need to do. But in the locker room, on the field, off the field when it comes to NFL. Now, if you want to be home and are surrounded by your friends and make whatever comments you want to make, that's fine. Make sure they're not recording it. Because if they record it and pass it to the media, you are still responsible because now you're bad-mouthing one of your players. And it's not acceptable. Whether you guys are janitors or you work for the president, no matter what your job is, if you work for someone else, you need to be tolerant and mind your behavior in the workplace. Period.
Okay, so listen, because I'm glad you brought up the workplace, their employees, stuff like that, but you have to remember, in other instances like what you say, to where they're employees, there's men and women. We're talking about only men there.
There's plenty of jobs where it's only women or only men.
Yeah, but like in this particular job in the NFL where they walk around naked and do things like that.
It doesn't matter.
You're saying that they should still...
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They have an employee handbook just like everyone else.
Okay.
They are an equal opportunity employer just like everyone else. And when you have those types of rules, you have to be tolerant. You don't make the decision of who gets in.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
You are an employee.
They're an employee.
So you have to abide by certain rules and behave a certain way.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. So with that being said, what if that particular thing that I'm saying, because that's what a lot of the athletes are using. Listen, they're using the religion as a reason to not accept Michael Sam. So I'm saying to you, what are you saying?
You don't have to accept him in your personal life. You don't have to invite him over to your house. But when you guys are practicing...
What the fuck?
It's time for me to take my melatonin. When you guys are practicing and when you're on the field, if you're the QB... and this gay guy is the center, you still need to reach up and play with his butthole just like you would play with a straight guy's butthole.
I agree with what you're saying, but what I'm trying to explain to you is this. We both know that's not going to happen.
Let me ask you this. Police officers. Yes, there's a couple of women, but for the most part, and in a lot of the country, it's still predominantly men.
Okay.
So now, your chief of police hires a homosexual cop.
Okay.
You're going to let that homosexual cop take a bullet and you're not going to go to help him and everything else?
No, come on, absolutely not.
Exactly. Yeah, so just like you wouldn't change how you act and change what is required of you in any other place of employment, this is a place of employment. This is your job. So as long as you want a job there and you want to be respected as a player, then you need to treat that person just like you treat everyone else. I'm not saying go above and beyond. I'm not saying to hang out after work. But while you're at work... you need to keep everything the same way that it was. Period.
Okay. So that's pretty much what it is. All right, so I don't know how it's gonna happen, and based on the feedback that I'm getting in the news articles, it's still a transition, which is the reason why America is still so far back.
Yeah, it is sad that people are still that ignorant.
But the bottom line is, Jason Collins is a bum. I wish nothing but the best for Michael Sam, but Jason Collins is a bum. Besides being a homosexual, I don't care about him being a homosexual. I just think that he's using his homosexuality in the wrong aspect to get a claim, and that's not fair. Owner. Yeah, and that's not fair. Other than that, I wish Michael Sam nothing but the best, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. One love.